Forget it, we'll do it live.
Hi everybody, welcome to 40 Fit Fu, episode 19. We are live from the Wah Lum Temple. We have an audience!
Yes. It's a huge audience.
There's like thousands of people here at the Wah Lum
We'll let you
Temple.
hear their cheer one more time. Our live studio audience. There is no need for you guys to see how many people there are here, but just realize that there are a lot.
Lots of people here. And we're excited to be here. Of course, this is the Wah Lum Temple. I think it's our first Facebook Live in the temple.
Yeah, you know what's really cool is that the Fuji sign is like right behind me.
Right there, and it's right there.
In this area right here, yeah.
So control is actually one of the things we're going to talk about. So our Fuji sign, which is right behind us, does symbolize control. It is a very special symbol for us because it is very native to my father's village in Shajang. And what it is the character for fire, and it is turned upside down. And you may have heard of it before. It's because Grandmaster Chan has published books about it, and also it is on our altar. Every single class, we all come here to start class and finish class, and control is kind of at the center and the core of what we like to teach the students. But we thought it was very pertinent to everyday life, and so I also do a Kung Fu pod, which I have been majorly slacking on. Haven't had too many of those.
I forgot about
Kung
that
Fu
one.
means
That's
hard work, and
right.
but we have talked about the control aspect. So it means patience and just basically taking that fire and extinguishing it and turning it upside down and flipping it around. And that is also why.
Bam!
You know what? I also don't think.
Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. That was really
amazing. It's like I wasn't even prepared for this.
I think through marriage, I was given permission to take control of your health. It's the one thing that I got as like your bonus. This is what you've been allowed to do. So I was able to name my business Control Your Health thanks to being married to you. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, we actually want to shout out to Shajang Village because they are actually the ones that all agreed on that. So
thank you, live studio audience.
So control during this time of
myself.
year is actually really important. Oh my gosh. Sifu 2 Trung is on our Facebook Live.
You know what? Let me just say something about Sifu 2.
Because he's on vacation right now.
That man is on vacation, but he is so passionate about this podcast that he
misses
from vacation.
He misses us because he didn't see us today. So we're happy to see you, Sifu 2, logging in. But control, I feel during this time of year, like I was talking to someone today, and they're just like, yeah, it's the holidays, so basically I have no control over my eating. Or, it's the holidays, I have no control over my drinking, or whatever your, fix is. So I feel like it's something that we like to always end the class with. We reiterate it, and I think it's not just in Kung Fu terms of like physical and what you do in terms of not being violent or aggressive or anything. I think it's also just having that self-control. And during the holidays, which is now, right?
They've already started.
It's already started.
We've gotten our cakes already, cookies.
Yeah, my
Brownies.
aunt, she baked this awesome rum cake, and so the way we control that is that we
super small
like
slivers.
a really small sliver, and then you have to put it somewhere where you can't see it, or cut into it. And
well, there's two ways to do it. One, I think, is yes, you cut small slivers and also put it away, and the other one is when you kind of look at me and say, just stop eating the cake right now. You're denied.
You're cut
but
off.
really, just real quick caveat. Based on rum cake, it has both of my favorite things, alcohol and sugar. So it's like a bonus.
It's like a double.
Now, but yes, we actually talked about this earlier today, is that at this time of year, the average amount of weight gain. Oh, let me put this out to the studio audience.
Yes.
Yell this out if you know it, but what is the average amount of weight gain between Thanksgiving and New Year's?
20 pounds, 10.
Closer to
15.
It's like 8 pounds in America, but 20 pounds is a lot.
20
that
pounds
would
is
be
a lot
quite
because
a bit.
between Thanksgiving and New Year's is like maybe a month.
If you put on 20 pounds between Thanksgiving and New Year's, you're putting in work. You're putting in hard work, and I think you should be commended on your effort.
You get a medal. You get a medal for that if you did 20. Because that's like at least a pound a day on average. So 8 pounds though, you guys, is actually quite a lot. So if you thought about like a bag of potatoes, that's usually like 3 to 5 pounds. So just think about like 2 to 3 of those bags that you're carrying around extra.
A bag of potatoes or a truckload of potato chips? About the same weight.
A truckload. Okay. I don't know. I've never really weighed them. But basically, if you think about it, 8 pounds doesn't sound like 15, 20 pounds. Like that sounds like what it is. But 8 pounds maybe feels like 15 or 20 pounds because that's actually a lot of excess. And so what we're focusing on is maybe how we can curb these, what's the word? Temptations. What's live studio audience? Yes. What's your holiday temptation that kind of gets you, like maybe at a party, you're like, oh man, I can't stay away from the whatever table, or is it food, or is it drink, or is it sweets, cookies,
cupcakes.
What?
Lemon
cake. That's very specific.
Lemon cake,
cheesecake, cookies. What else we got? Potato chips. That's a very holiday spirited potato chip. That's
very holiday-like.
Very festive.
Yeah.
They must be like red and green potato chips, though.
Yeah. Probably like extra crunchy for that extra holiday crunch.
Extra holiday crunch. So these are all very common. And the thing is, we're not going to stand up here and tell you not to have any of it because that's ridiculous.
I think the important part is to have a plan.
Yes.
So let's talk about how to plan for the holidays.
Yes.
It's not too late, y'all. Only 2 weeks left. You can still take control of your nutrition.
Yes.
So number one is if you know that you're going to go to a holiday party and you know that this person is going to have things that you make.
Potato chips, lemon cake, cupcakes, cheesecake, cake, cookies.
Yeah. I have found for
example.
myself and my clients that the best thing is to go in and say, here is the amount that I'm going to have, not to say, I'm not going to have anything. Because then it's like, if you completely deny yourself, then I think it's a lot harder. But if you were to say, let's just go with a cookie, which is what I love.
Or 2 to 4 glasses of wine.
Then you can say, you know what, I'm just going to have 1 cookie. Or, hopefully they're not these ginormous cookies. Yeah,
a cookie
cake.
Like Genghis Khan was like, or Obadiah, only 1 glass of wine, and he found like this huge goblet. So you gotta.
So I would say, give yourself an idea of like what your portion is going to be beforehand, and then try to hold yourself to that.
Or tell someone you're going with and have them hold you accountable.
Someone that you know cares for you and that you're afraid of. Both of those things combined really helps out a lot.
I don't know where you find such a person.
I don't know. The other thing is, a lot of times, go ahead. Oh, we're losing one of our studio audience.
Okay,
goodbye. All right, have a great night. That's okay. We have so many people.
We have so many people
left. Yeah. But a lot of times, hunger is masked, is really thirst in disguise. So I have not drank enough water. I have not listened to my own advice. Drink some water before you go and have that dessert, and you may find that you don't need as much of it as you think you do. And then some other things that are important, and this goes along with any type of overeating, is slowing down when you eat. If you are going to have that lemon cake.
So don't pull your chair up to the table where the cake and the cookies are, and just stay there and eat it.
Shoveling is not as important.
Shoveling is bad.
And to go back to your point of control being self-awareness, is to really be present and enjoy what you're eating. So we use our analogy of a cookie, is if you're having a cookie, don't shovel 5 cookies in your mouth and be like, oh my God, and then go into a coma. Some members of our audience have seen that happen to me, right?
Somebody has a habit of going into a cookie coma, we call it.
What works a lot better is to take the 1 cookie, appreciate it, enjoy it, be present and know what you're doing.
Smell the cookie,
because
chew the cookie and swallow it. Do not inhale
because
and just...
It would be, I think, actually much more enjoyable, and then you can also pay attention to your satiety cues and be like, well, you know what, I'm enjoying this, I don't really need the other one. So you haven't really...
Or share it. If you have 2, maybe like share it with
that works for some people. I'll just admit it won't work for me. I'm not a sharer, and I'm proud to admit it. But those are some tactics on how I think you can limit the amount of the
So portion control. So number 1, portion control, going in with a plan on, okay, I'm not gonna have 10 cookies, maybe just 3 or 2 or 1 based on the size of the cookie. You have to, but you have to set your limitation. And I think it's really important to add here though that, like, say you have 3 cookies and you said you were only going to have 1. The world's not over. It's okay. You're probably not gonna gain 8 pounds from those 2 extra cookies. and not to kind of really be down on yourself about it, because you know it's the holidays, guys. You gotta be
Not
merry.
to, yeah, I would say don't give up all hope. Like, let's say you fall.
Doesn't mean because you had the 3, now you should just eat the whole lemon cake, because we might as well.
Right. Falling off the wagon doesn't mean that now you're going to forget about getting back on the wagon. You're going to start kicking people in the face and jump down the canyon of despair.
No,
I would say forgive yourself and be like, you know what? I didn't do what I said I was going to do, but I'm going to try again to do it again, and then have a plan of what that means. And that plan really cannot be, I'm going to just completely stop doing this. I think I just haven't seen that works really well, especially this time of year, because you want to enjoy time with friends and family, and sometimes that involves some stuff.
Cake.
Yeah.
Cookies, scotch, whatever your choice is, you know. So yeah, again, I just always want to point out that I am on here. If you guys have questions, feel free to type them in. And audience, we don't want to neglect you. If you have questions, always feel free to ask questions and let us know. Just in case we are going through things too quickly, I tend to talk fast sometimes. But in terms of control, you know, what we just said, 2 things to remember is go in with a plan. If the plan goes out the window, it doesn't mean that means everything has to go out the window.
Plans aren't set in stone.
Yeah,
either.
and it's
They're
fluid.
Be,
You need to be social. You need to enjoy yourself. So
that's really cool of you. You're kind of like the way you're talking right now. I like that. Yeah, real relaxed.
Yeah,
I like
because
that.
I think I'm a very relaxed person. I don't know what you mean.
I've noticed that a lot about you. Yeah, I would say that.
It's one of the adjectives people think of when they think about me.
Mimi,
She's
relaxed,
really relaxed all the time.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on. Is there anything else, audience, is there anything else that you would like to ask a question about? Yes, anonymous audience member, go ahead.
So usually these holiday parties are in the evenings, right? What can we do or what should we do in between the eating and the sleeping?
So after the party, you mean? Okay, so the question, if you can't hear it, was that, these parties are usually in the evening. So say you go to an 8 o'clock party and then it's wrapped up by like 11 or 12 even. And then she's like, well, what about when I get home? And like, but I ate at 8 o'clock because that was when the dinner was. And now I'm home and I took home all the leftovers with me. What can we do between that time to sleeping time?
Okay, I'll tell you what I would do.
You would eat them on the way home.
Yeah, but keep in mind that...
Don't do that.
Keep in mind that I'm a fitness professional. I know what I'm doing. Okay, no, seriously. What I would do if it's something that's in the evening, this is just me personally and it may not work for you, is I'll do some kind of physical activity. So like, I know, hey, I'm going to go to this party and I know there's going to be some stuff and I'm not going to prevent myself completely from eating it. I'll do some like squats right beforehand, like just some bodyweight squats. Or the same thing right afterwards, like before going to bed. I'll do some kind of physical activity. You don't have to do that. You could put on a little bit of music, I know that we have some some dancers here. There's 2 people in particular.
Yeah,
they will remain nameless.
Like
that I know that if you just play music, they can do some kind of moving around, dancing around. You and I do that sometimes. We'd be dead tired and we just put on some music and then just like.
Especially if you're like in food coma mode,
in
you
food
gotta
coma
move
mode, we do
around.
kind of like the robot zombie type of thing, and we just do that. That's one thing, and then the other thing is, don't stay up later just because you ate, because sleep is so important to the whole process of digestion. Like if I were to say, let's put a priority of everyone wants to be a little bit leaner. Priority number 1 is sleep, because if you don't get good sleep, the next day your body actually craves more of these like empty carbohydrates. So there's studies that show that all things being equal, diet, exercise, activity level, all these other things, 2 groups, the group that didn't sleep an average of like 7 to 8 hours, that slept an average of like 4 to 5 hours, that group gained more weight and retained more weight. And there's just a lot of things, and it really comes down to hormones and stuff like that. So I would still prioritize sleep, unless you feel that you're gonna have like some kind of indigestion or something. So I would prioritize sleep, but if you can't, then some type of physical activity that is active for you. For me, I would be like air squats.
So I'm pretty much not gonna do squats after a Christmas party and I've eaten and I'm tired. That's this one, so maybe some light stretching, maybe some foam rolling, maybe. But more than likely, I'm not going to do that. But it's the same way that we made a plan for before the party. If you kind of go in with a mindset of after, like, okay, when I get home, the leftovers are going right in the fridge or where I don't see them, because that's not what you want to do, is probably eat at 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. that's probably not going to give you good sleep, because by then like you're reintroducing all of these different things like too much sugar, too much sodium, and all of that, and that does play a role in how you sleep. So I definitely think if you do the same thing where you make a plan like you did before the party, make a plan for after. Like, no, I'm definitely not going to have that. I know you maybe don't want to pee all night, but water is a good substitute. Maybe a nice warm cup of chamomile tea if that's your thing. But I also think that's a good time for those of you who are into meditation or a little mindfulness, like putting on something and just taking some time to like maybe breathe. Think about how awesome and how fortunate we are that we just went to an event where people invited us into their home and we got to share an experience and share food and share this really cool holiday time where everyone makes a little extra time to get together. It takes a little extra time to wrap something, to present it. Like all of those things, I think we can do a little gratitude practice. Maybe plan to write a little journal. You know where I was going with that. That's your time. If you don't have a journal, you could just type out something. But that's, I think, a good time to have a little reflective time where you're like, you know, this is something where I'm going to absorb and appreciate what just happened. And then you're probably not going to be thinking about food. Or maybe you'll be like, I really enjoyed all of that. Thank you so much for all that food. It was wonderful. That's good. You can appreciate the food too. But I think making a plan for, like you said, an activity, if squats at midnight after a party is your idea of fun or a way to get you to go to sleep.
Well,
fine.
here's the thing is,
that's not mine. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to pretend that I go home and I work out after
if
parties.
you do something, like if you were to
He
do,
does, though.
okay,
He actually-
let's just say the squats is an example, but if you
Crawl
do some,
around your house, though,
if you do
is
some
good.
kind of physical activity right before you eat and then right after, your body does process these like empty sugars a little bit better, so the impact to your body will be a little bit less. That is why. But this is a really excellent point, which is, I think, let's say
1%, 99% of the people.
no, but let's just say that you went to a party, you ate a lot, it's late, and you got to go to bed. I really think it's a really good idea to journal something, to think about, well, here's what went really well, and then here's maybe what I didn't do as well as I hoped, but then the third thing would be, here's what I'm going to plan to do tomorrow. And water's a really good,
We're really planning a lot today. Yeah, lots of planning.
A lot of planning. But but the plan doesn't have to be this detailed, like flow charts and like,
no Excel spreadsheet?
No Excel. It could just be, tomorrow I'm going to, when I'm thirsty, I'm going to drink more water.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, in honesty, we've covered this before in previous podcasts, but that is also really important. Don't try to make your plan really hard to follow. Like, don't try to go, okay, when I go in, I'm only going to have one glass of wine. I'm going to have, this portion of this, don't be so strict with yourself, because then it'll all just go out the window. Just like pick one small thing that you can do and then celebrate that win.
Other thing that I will add to this is, let's say that you had a plan. I'm only going to have one cookie. You've eaten that cookie. You got the second cookie in your hand and it's already bitten. And then you realize, wait, I said I was only going to have one cookie. You don't have to finish that cookie. It's okay if you throw it away, because you're not wasting it. You're either going to waste it by throwing it in the trash, preferred method, or you're going to waste it by throwing it away in your body as extra fat and all this other stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
You're not going to offend the cookie gods by throwing away the
won't
cookie.
Get, struck by lightning.
There's not going to, all of a sudden, by you not eating that cookie, there's going to be a cookie shortage. So I would say, what I'm saying is, and this goes not just with things that are
not just during the holidays either.
Enemy,
this is
but
like
even
all year round.
Even like a good meal, but it's too much of it's more than what you should be eating. It's okay to throw it away. Seriously, throw it away. You're not gonna be starving. You'll find food again tomorrow. There's one thing that guaranteed here in the U.S., no matter how bad it is.
In the U.S., yeah.
You could be starving, and people will find a way to shovel food into your mouth somehow. You will not die from hunger. Most people.
Right.
If you're watching a Facebook Live video, you're not.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. You gotta get your priorities.
Any other questions from our audience? Well, we're pretty much on wrap-up time. You guys feel
any
like
comments
you've
about
learned
this?
Everything you need
right
to
here.
know about control.
What do you think about
and plans?
this hand
Again,
gestures?
you asked that last week.
Yeah. Sorry, sir, anonymous. We don't want to name any names here. Okay, good.
Okay.
I've been experimenting and I appreciate that. Very good. Anyone else want to throw in?
No.
You guys are giving away who you are.
She's not on. She's not.
During the day before you go to the party?
Okay, so the question is, before the party, do you change anything? Like, all right, I know what's going to be on tonight with the cookies and the cakes and the...
We do.
Yes, we actually do prepare.
We do not sell supplements or condone supplements, but if we know there's going to be alcohol involved, we drink a lot of water and vitamin C.
And lysine.
And lysine, but let's just say it's like some kind of vitamin C. And so we drink a lot of that, and then if we're drinking alcohol, we'll drink more water and more vitamin C.
Water in between.
And then we get home and we drink like an airborne, right? Which is just a bunch of like vitamin C and lysine and stuff like that. So for the alcohol, that's one thing we do.
For food, we just kind of, if you know you're going to have this really decadent meal, like I'm Jamaican, so obviously we throw down when it comes to meals. Like it's going to be heavy, there's going to be a lot of food. So then, in the day, I'll just have salads or something lighter or some fruit and I keep, I'm not going to starve myself.
If your Aunt Carmen is cooking, I'm like, oh, we're going to Auntie Carmen's
and he's like,
house.
all right, let me just get water
then I do squats and I just stop eating altogether until we get there. But what has helped me is like when you go to these parties and it's kind of like a buffet type of thing where you keep going back up, is I take very small portions. I don't ever, no matter how long.
He's not one of those like get the big plate and then pile it really high.
I just take
kind of
a
thing.
little tiny bit, like a little small portion, and I go eat that. And if I'm still, and then I wait, and if I'm still hungry, then I'll go back. But if you take this big thing and you're like just,
and you feel like you have to eat it all.
Shovel it all in.
But also that effort to have to go back and that that extra step that kind of takes you away. So that's another kind of good party plan is maybe take the appetizer sized plate instead of the big plate, and then if you have to go back, you have to go back. I mean, don't go back like 100 times, but it actually makes it less convenient, and you end up like socializing and doing other things.
You know what this also reminds me of is last thing. In ethnic families, they like to give you a hard time when you don't eat. Oh, you're getting so skinny. You don't like my food.
Yeah, you don't like my food.
So then they try to give you that guilt, that holiday guilt.
Yeah,
and if you're Catholic, they add more on that.
Yeah,
it's like
they're
Catholic
all about the guilt. Yeah.
What I would suggest is to just say, you know what, Auntie, I know you love me.
Or uncle.
Or uncle, and I love you too. However, the fact that I'm not having your cake does not mean that I don't love you. It just means that I'm really full. That's all. I appreciate it. I'm sure it's delicious, but I just don't want that right now. And it's not that you're on some special diet. Just let them know.
And you can just say, you know what, if you don't mind though, maybe I'll take one to go and you can have it like.
And then throw it away.
Out.
No, I'm sorry. Don't throw it away. Just kidding. Just kidding.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you guys for joining us on 45th Food. Thank you to our live audience.
And you know what I really like about the live audience?
They're so blown away. They're a little delayed in their reaction. They're like, what? They're actually starting to tear up because they were sad that this was ending.
What I like about the live audience is that they did not have to be directed at any point. They just kind of just,
they're really,
it's all very natural. Very organic. It's very organic,
it's
natural
really,
thing that happens.
Very
I like that a lot.
All right, guys. We are not necessarily going to be on at 7:30.
On Christmas or New Year's.
On Christmas or New Year's. I think it's, but we are going to try to pre-record something for you guys, and we will post it at 7:30 so that you cannot miss us too much for those 2 weeks.
And what we're going to do is actually
because we'll be on holiday as well. So we're going to pre-record stuff and make sure that you guys get that rollout and just give you some quick tips. And if there's anything you'd like to see, any requests, please hit us up on any of our social media. You can email us at mimi@culturechatpodcast.com and check out all of our other sites, and don't forget to turn on notifications because we are still going to be posting something for you. Thank you guys. See you next time.
Well done.